right, welcome back for another episode of the Wednesday Watch List. This is my weekly look ahead to the new releases coming out this week for April 3rd, 2024. Sorry, members didn't get a sneak peek at this one because it was a busy Easter weekend and I just didn't have time to film it early. So I am doing this Monday evening after I got home from work, trying to rush it done so I can get this edited and out to you guys tonight so everyone can still get that jump start on this week's new releases. Hopefully you're finding this series helpful. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. And you keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. And if you want to see the books I got my eye on this week, just hang out for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. All right, so let's get right into the watch list and not waste any time. We start off the week as we do every week with my personal picks. These are some things that I'm keeping an eye on. Just maybe they're already heating up. Maybe they're already selling for a premium, or it's just stuff that I'm personally really looking forward to, or I'm hearing some buzz about. So with that all said, I think this week I'm hearing a lot of noise, and I'm excited for it. For Geiger and the rest of the Ghost Machine books that are coming out. We got that teaser book. It's a little more than a month ago now. That came out. Now we're getting the start of Geiger, Redcoat, and Rook this week with new number ones and a bunch of incentives. A lot of high ratio incentives on these books. I don't know if anyone's going to qualify them except the biggest of big stores. But hey, this is what's coming out. Regardless of all that, I'm looking forward to reading this stuff. It looks good. It looks entertaining. I need to go back and check out all of the original stuff that came out because I got the first series of Geiger, I don't believe I actually finished reading the whole thing. So I got to go back, make sure I finish that up. I got to go check out Junkyard Joe because they can get all through all of that. And yeah, I just want to make sure I play catch up before Wednesday. I got a couple of days to do it, so I'm not too concerned. But with that said, Geiger number one is one of the new series that is starting this Wednesday, and there are a couple of covers that you can get, including a connecting cover, B cover, and then there is a sketch cover available as well. Incentive-wise, there are not a lot of incentives. Like, we're not doing the normal image thing where there's a 10, there's a 20, there's a 30, there's a 40, there's a 50, there's a 60. Remember, we did that with Napalm Lullaby. Thankfully, they did not go that route with this book. They're keeping it very simple. We have the B cover. And then we have a foil version of that B cover, which will be the 1 in 50 incentive. On top of that, you got to go very, very high and get yourself a 1 in 500 sketch version of that cover A. 1 in 500. This is like one of those crazy Marvel. Remember back when we had all those Venom, the McFarlane art that they were pushing out with a very super high ratios, the 1 in 500s, 1 in 1000s. That's what it reminds me of. But hey, shop ordered 500, God bless them. They'll get one of these. I don't think I could afford it. And I didn't see anything out there as of yet, pre-sold or anything like that. I think I saw one listed, but they're looking for ratio. And if they can get ratio, that alone, that's $500. I mean, it's a 1 in 500. So for a new release book, if they could get that, even that would be impressive. But on top of that, apparently there is also a 1 in 1000 edition. Now, the 1 in 1000, as I understand it, I haven't seen any of these yet because, well, I'm not a shop, I'm not a retailer. I didn't order 1,000 copies of these, and I haven't seen any pictures of anybody who has. But as I understand it, it will be a sketch cover. Granted, I don't know if it will be on the sketch cover edition of this, or if it will be a special cover all of its own. I don't know. But for our purposes here, I thought I'd have some fun and mock something up. You guys know I like to mock up covers, so I decided to do that. So on Geiger, the 1 in 1000 is going to be a Gary Frank original sketch convention cover variant, limited to 1 per store. So even if they order 2,000, they still only get 1. Again, just for fun, this is a mock-up. This is not one that exists. This is something you might be able to see of what you might get if you were to get that 1 in 1000. Again, I'm imagining there won't be many of them. I'm imagining they will all be very unique and one of ones. And yeah, who knows what the price may be. I mean, there won't be an apples to apples comparison. So we'll see if any of these sell. I'll be curious. And if any of you actually get one, absolutely tag, share. I would love to see it. But this is just one of those high pie in the sky type of high-end exclusives incentives that I don't know if a lot of people are going to be able to get their hands on. So we'll see. And hopefully somebody will get one so I can see what it looks like. But that's what we got for Geiger. Also, as I mentioned, we're getting the other series coming out, including Rook Exodus. Looking forward to this. Jeff Johns, Jason Fabok, if I'm saying his name properly. This is the cover A, which is a wraparound. Looks pretty cool. We got this whole thing. Pretty cool. I mean, I like the art. The art here, and we're getting like a kind of like a not Beastmasters, well, Battle Beasts kind of vibe, maybe even like the characters seem to have like totem animals and like masks. So I'm getting some kind of a cool visionary kind of vibes out of this. I'm looking forward to it, regardless. A cover, wraparound. Definitely get one of these. Connecting cover, as I mentioned, on that B cover. We'll look at that once we're all done. Don't worry, I'll come back around to them. B cover in the middle. And then there is that sketch cover, just like the last book. Also, like the last book, there is a 1 in 50, and it's a foil edition of that B cover. Also, like the last book, there is a 1 in 500, which is a black and white sketch cover of that cover A. And yes, it is a wraparound, if you were wondering. Pretty cool stuff. Again, I normally don't like black and white sketches, but the pencil work here, the line work is pretty awesome. I kind of like this. I kind of like it as is. But I'll be happy with the cover A. I'll be happy with the cover A. Also getting the cover B too, because I like a good connecting cover set, as you guys all know. In addition, just like the last book, there is a 1 in 1,000, one per store maximum, Jason Fabok original art sketch cover that could be out there. Once again, don't know what these will look like at all. Figured I'd mock something up for fun. And this is what it could potentially look like, which, again, could be pretty cool. So, yeah, if anybody gets one, tag me. I'd love to see it. Love to see it. One more. So, one more out of the Ghost Machine end of things, that little corner of the universe. Red Coat, #1, is also coming out this week. This is Johns and Brian Hitch. Pretty cool. This is also, as you might guess, a wraparound cover on this cover A. Not too bad. Cover B, as well as a sketch cover. You seeing a theme here? 1 in 50? Yep, foil version of that cover B. Is there? Yeah, of course there's a 1 in 500. And yes, it is a sketch cover. And yes, it is a wraparound just like the last one. And yes, they also are offering that 1 in 1,000 sketch cover, this time by Brian Hitch, because he's the artist on Red Coat. So they let the artists do their thing on these 1 in 1,000s. And once again, mocked up, does not exist. Who knows what this will look like? It might look like something like this, if you're lucky. Granted, this is very finished looking art. It could be something rougher. It could be something just as finished, just something just as polished. I don't know. I don't know how many they're going to be made. I don't know how many they're going to do. I don't know how many are going to qualify for this book, or how many we'll even see come to market. But I'm going to keep my eye on it because I find it curious and I find it interesting. I'll never own one of these, but it'd be kind of cool to look at. That said, I mentioned that those B covers, including the 1 in 50 foils, they do connect. So they all come together to form a nice interlocking cover set. So yes, I also am trying to get a set of these to go along with my cover A's because, well, I like these, and yeah, buying 2 covers ain't that bad. And considering there are no incentives that I really want to pay for, like I'm not going up for the 1 in 50 foils because I'm not that big on the shiny foil and I don't need to pay those 1 in 50 prices. So I'll be happy with this B cover set just fine. Granted, the 1 in 50s, they're all kind of right around that ratio mark. So you're not seeing any pricing pre-sale information here from me today because they're all listed and kind of right around that mark. So we'll see if they go above and beyond that. And the same thing with the 1 in 500, not really seeing. Saw like maybe 1 or 2. Like I might have saw a Geiger like listed, and it was listed for like $500, but nothing sold as of yet. And same thing with the 1 in 1,000. I haven't seen anything listed or anything pre-sold. If you go to store websites, you'll see they have them listed there. Like some of the larger retailers, I think like Third Eye's got it listed, maybe like $1,000 or $1,500. Golden Apple, things, stores like that, the Midtowns, the bigger ones, they might have that 1 in 1,000 listed, and it's probably going to be very pricey. So we'll see. We'll see. With that said, apart from this, I still have this in my pick section because I'm still following it and I still am enjoying the Energon universe, as you know by now. So Void Rivals 8 is coming out and I'm looking forward to that. Only 2 covers to worry about here with the A and the B, unless you want to get into incentive talk, at which point there are a few that we could look at, from the 1 in 10, the 1 in 25 in the middle, and then that 1 in 50 over there on the side. Once again, not really doing anything above and beyond ratio, so you can find these for ratio or less probably at your shop or over the coming week. We'll see if things start to heat up and if anything ends up going above that mark. But for now, everything seems pretty well affordable in that ratio kind of area. Now, outside of those picks, a lot of these could end up in the same section, but I did separate these out from my reading list because these are the books that I'm looking forward to reading, including those four that I just listed there. Those are definitely four top of the pile picks for me to read this week. But apart from that, I'm also going to try to edge some of these near the top of that pull list because I also want to read and keep up as best I can with a lot of these titles as well. Starting off with Batman. Batman 146. Chip Zdarsky is giving us a little bit more Batman Joker action. We got Batman Zur-En-Arrh, or however you say his name. I think Punchline's even showing up in this one, as you can see on the cover. Is a character going to die? I don't know. We'll find out. I'm looking forward to reading this thing. Cover A. There are other variants here as well, B's and C's. That's a Delato. Pretty cool there. 1 in 25. I actually like this Dan Panosian. I thought about getting it. You can get it for like half ratio, so none of these are doing anything kind of crazy. That 1 in 50 is not bad either. It's almost like a little bit of a throwback look, but that Panosian in the middle, I just like the texture of it. It's kind of has like a cool old school Joe kind of a Kubert vibe to it, and I don't know, just something with it. And I love the background to it too. It's like there's fine details there that I like. So with that said, definitely want to see what's going on here in this title, along with continuing the action in One Hand. So One Hand number 3 is coming out, continuing that kind of back and forth with Six Fingers as we're getting the detective and the killer stories kind of running side by side parallel a little bit here. So One Hand number 3 is coming out this week. There is an A and a B. I am not sure, at least at this point as I'm filming this, if there is a secret edition. There has been for issues 1 and 2. Maybe there's another one here, and maybe they connect like they have been for the first two. But for now, this is all I got, the A and the B. So maybe there's a secret edition. Again, busy weekend. Didn't have a lot of time to do a lot of digging into that extra little stuff because no one gave me a heads up of anything I should be aware of. But definitely happy to get either of these. Just want to read it. Just want to keep up with this story because it is pretty good. Also, want to keep up with Crashdown. Yes, Comic Tom's book. Because I've been reading it. I just want to see how this thing ends. This is the penultimate issue. This is issue 3 out of 4. So we're only getting one more after this. I'm just kind of curious to see where it goes. You know, like, it ain't bad. A lot of covers here. Definitely a lot of covers. But I'm digging the cover A, which is fine. But I think my favorite here is, I think Mayhew's got this one right there. That's really nice on that issue 3. And then it goes to Tyler Kirkham doing his battle damage thing, which I think we've seen a lot of lately. But I do like that Mayhew. Just going to say that's the one I'm hoping to get for this one. On top of that, there are some incentives as well. A 1 in 10, a 1 in 25, and a 1 in 50 as well, if you're into that kind of thing. Once again, ratio or less, nothing really moving on the pre-sale side of things this week. And that's a story that kind of carries through most of the books for this week. There's not a lot of early sales or early spikes for a lot of things this week. There are a couple. We'll get to them, but definitely not a lot. Definitely not a lot. So with that, could be a more affordable week for you variant hunters, but for you readers like me, it's already fixing to be an expensive one because there's just a lot of stuff to read. I mean, look how far we're in. I already got like 6 books and I'm 15 minutes in. I'm wanting to read everything so far, including the next book, Moon Knight, Vengeance of Moon Knight number 4. Continuing that story with this, new Moon Knight. Maybe we find out who this is. I heard rumors that somebody might have gotten an early copy and revealed that we might find out who this is in this book. I don't know. So I'm looking forward to reading it regardless, and looking forward to this tying in with Blood Hunt coming up as well. And if you guys are interested in Blood Hunt, make sure you come back for the tax show on Wednesday because we're going to have Jack on, who wrote an article over on CBSI that really dove deep into looking ahead towards Blood Hunt. And we're going to run through all the characters in the books that are coming and attached and all that fun stuff like we did with his Timeless thing about a month back. So make sure you come back on Wednesday and join us for that because it's bound to be very informative and a good time. With that said, Moon Knight number 4 only has a couple of covers. Thankfully. We got an A we got a B, and we got a 1 in 25. Well, these are the ones I'm going to show you here. There's at least one more. It's going to be in a segment later on. As you know, I like to group some of the variants together to give you a whole update on that. So we'll just stick with these for now. Well, I do like that 1 in 25, though. It's got a kind of a cool look to it. But any of these will do. I'm happy. I'm happy with that cover A, and just want to read it. I think it got at least one more. X-Men. Yes, we got X-Men this week. X-Men 33. Got to make sure we keep up with what's going on the X side of things because, well, X-Men's 97 has X-Men back on the brain. And yes, as the whole fall of the House of X and Powers of X, etc., as that all wraps up, I'm just curious to see where this goes. As we know, we're getting a brand new restart and some new titles starting up very, very soon. So before we get there, we got to see how this all wraps up. Cover A here. There's also a trading card cover, which is pretty cool. I always like these, but if they're getting kind of overdone, they're almost feeling like those action figure covers at this point because there's so many of them. And then the Hildebrandt ones too. Like I don't need these, but they just keep pushing them out. And I also don't need the 1 in 50s that come with that. I mean, it's a okay White Queen, but she's just kind of just lounging there at the bar, all just like she's had a long ride on her hog. Yeah, it's not for me. I don't know. Got a bit of a barbed wire kind of vibe to it. But then again, this series came out in the 90s, this card set. So these cards are a little bit dated. I just don't know why we need these done as comic covers. They're fine as just being what they were, cards. So, whatever. But that's a 1 in 50. You know, they've been doing that across all these Marvel titles throughout the last couple of months, and they're not stopping soon. We're going to see another one a little bit later. But first, let's get to the new number ones. I know you guys like these two. There's some new series starting. And yes, I might want to read some of these as well as the pile of books I've already gone through. But some of these are just kind of curious. Like their books piquing my interest, seem kind of interesting. They're not every new number one. This is not a list of every new number one, but it's pretty close. But I did put things that just at least seem mildly interesting to me. Starting off with Patton Oswalt's book, Minor Threats. This is the second series, I believe. There was a mini before this. It came out like a year or two ago. But this is Minor Threats, the fastest way down. Like I said, Patton Oswalt. He's a geek like us, writing a book. This is out of Dark Horse. Cover A. There's some cool variants here as well. You're getting that VHS cover copy there. It's kind of fun. Looks a little bit like a Kill Bill, but also like an 80s throwback with the Rubik's Cube there. I don't know. Multiple covers as well as some. There's a foil cover there as well. Is that a David Mack? I think there's a Mack there too. No, it's not Mack. That's somebody else. But there's the Mac. It's the 1 in 10. I knew there was a David Mack in this series. It's the 1 in 10. And then there's also a 1 in 25 if you were also interested. Pre-sales on those 1 in 10s and 1 in 25s, they're like ratio or maybe a tiny bit more here or there. It's inconsistent. Like that 1 in 10 could sell anywhere from $8 to $15. So, it is what it is. If you're interested, go check it out. We're also getting this series from Oni. I don't know a lot about it, but it kind of looks cool. I don't know. Some of these covers are kind of making me interested here in Akugun, Brutalizer of Gods. I don't know. It's like a god killer. I'm thinking like almost like a God of War kind of vibe, but with this character here. Cover A, cover B, cover C ain't too bad. And this I think is another Mac here in the middle. That 1 in 30 is pretty badass. I kind of like that. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it. 1 in 30 could be a little tough. I don't know. A lot of places are going to be ordering that many of these. And it's going to be one to watch. I don't know. It's like going to be one of those things that's going to be harder to find because it's a smaller print company. And a lot of shops ain't going to be investing too heavily in a new title like this. So finding one of these might not be the easiest thing to do, but it also might be expensive. It might not. Who knows? I'm going to play it by ear and see what happens as we watch it this week. But there is a 1 in 20 version, and that 1 in 30 is probably my favorite of the bunch. I kind of wish it was like a B cover, and I definitely would have grabbed it. But just kind of want to check this out. Just kind of curious about it. Also kind of curious why we're getting these Valiant books back. But these are like one shots, and they are expensive. They're like 10 to like $13 because I think they're going to be a little bit thicker than normal. But Britannia is coming out with the Great Fire of Rome, A cover and a B cover. So there's going to be two options. Ain't too bad. Feel like this Valiant stuff, you can go back and kind of catch up on this, or jump right in here with these one shots. And then there's also a live wire book, The Secret Weapons, coming out as well, which also has 2 covers available, for your choosing. No incentives, just these 2, both cover price. But like I said, the cover price is a little bit more expensive because I believe these are a little thicker than normal. Keen Spot's giving us this Can I Scream title. I don't know exactly what this is either, but the cover kind of made me curious. And then there is a virgin foil as well as a sketch cover for it. I don't know, just something about this little dude getting held by like a ghost. And I don't know, kind of curious. Don't know what it's about. Much like The Principles of Necromancy. So, story of some world that doesn't have magic, but obviously there's a necromancer, so there's some magic in this world, and I'm sure shenanigans will ensue. But this looks pretty creepy, and kind of curious about it. I mean, I like a good horror title every once in a while. So this is the cover A, pile of bodies there, necromancer title. The B cover looks kind of creepy too. Looks like a cross between Mr. Freeze and Dr. Horrible. And then that 1 in 5 is also kind of spooky with this missing eyeballs. And then you just got limbs and blood everywhere, gore. Who knows? Like I said, I don't know a lot about this title. It's a new #1. Curious. It's not out yet, so I don't know what's in it. I could read the synopsis to you, but you can go check that out for yourself too. All I know is I kind of eyeballed it, scanned it, the little blurb. Thought it was interesting enough to pique my interest, and I'll play it by ear as the week goes on. Now, there's also a new Dungeons and Dragons one shot coming out for this Ravenloft. This is another $10 book, Caravan of Curses. 2 covers available on this, no incentives, so you can pick your poison here if you're interested in getting a new D&D book. Usagi Yojimbo also coming out with a new series, The Crow. This is part 1, new issue 1, Stan Sakai, cover A. There's a pretty cool 1 in 10, which is like a little bit almost like an action figure, but that 1 in 40 is pretty awesome looking. I dig that. I don't know. I just like it. This is celebrating 40 years of Usagi Yojimbo, which is why I think it's a 1 in 40 incentive on that higher ratio. But taking a look at it, this is one of those few books that could do well as the week goes on because, I mean, how many places are ordering 40 copies of this book? Early pre-sale, $100. Asking price for a couple of others looking for 90 to 150. Will that be the price? I don't know, but that's what's out there right now. So it's worth keeping an eye on and seeing what happens as the week goes on. But pre-sales, they give you a temperature, but that doesn't mean that's where the market's going to be. Doesn't mean it. Just because things start selling early, come Wednesday, this could be ratio or less. Once copies hit the shelves and hit even the internet, copies are available. So we'll see what happens as the week goes on. With that said, we're getting volume 2 of Godzilla versus the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I didn't even remember a first series of this. I mean, I vaguely remember it, but okay, we're getting volume 2. Couple of covers here. Cover A, there is a B cover, C cover, I guess, whatever. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a 1 in 10. I mean, I like Godzilla. I saw the new movie with my son. Wasn't bad. Wasn't great. It was what it was. I mean, it was just a kaiju fighting movie, but not like a real deep thinker or anything like that. The logic of this Hollow Earth is loosey goosey, but if you suspend disbelief and enjoy it for what it is, it was a lot of fun. Just seeing some huge monsters fighting each other and getting things done. With that said, I'm sure this comic would feel a lot the same. Seeing Godzilla facing off against a Megazord. Again, Power Rangers weren't my thing. They kind of came after my time, but I get it. I mean, it's Voltron. To me, it's Voltron, so I get it. That said, April O'Neil is also having a special here. Well, it's April special. $7 on this one. It's a one shot. She's there with the can't think of the duck's name. Ace Duck, something like that. Is that his name? I remember the toy. My brother had it. It's pretty expensive these days if you can find one. But with that said, there are 2 covers here on this April special. So IDW, grab which one that you like if you're interested in that. Go over to Image. We got Hack Slash Kill Your Idols. I think this is also another one shot. We got some of these old school Image characters here, from Super Patriot to Shadowhawk, and I see was that Bloodstrike, I think, in the back? Yeah. 90s, right? Couple of covers here. including a B cover that it has some more of those 90s characters on it. And then there is also a 1 in 10 that it's pretty cool little throwback. But there's your image number one for this week as well. Was this image? I think it's image. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it's image. Anyway, we're going over to Marvel now. So with Marvel, we got a couple of number ones here as well. We got Spider-Man, Shadow of the Green Goblin. I'm pretty sure this is just a one shot, or it's a short series, maybe like 1 or 2 issues. But with it, there's a cover A, B cover, or I think that's the B cover there, and then a C cover with the Goblin coming out of the head. All cool covers here. 1 in 25, as well as a 1 in 100 version on that one. It is what it is. 1 in 100, as you might guess, is going to be one to watch because, well, that's what we do here. Right now, it's right around that ratio. The early sales, best offer on $130, $110. There was only one asking out there right now, and it was asking $165. So we'll see if that one sells or if any more come to market. But just worth keeping an eye on. Doubt there'll be a lot of volume because, again, this is like a one-off, like odd side title. So ordering 100 copies is not something every LCS will do. Now, more shops might be a little more inclined to order more copies of Deadpool because it's Deadpool, movie's coming. People are excited. New volume, new number one, a lot of covers. So this one, we'll see. This one also will have a 1 in 100 if you get where I'm going with this. Cover A, Saturday morning cartoon cover there, as well as a Stormbreakers and a another variant as well with Deadpool with a huge gun with a duct tape sword to it. You know, it's also being held, kind of like a little joke cover. Kind of fun. Also a foil edition and a 1 in 25 in the middle there, as well as a 1 in 100 of that huge gun. Now, with that 1 in 100, let's see how this one's doing. As I said, there might be more shops that have these in hand, but they also might ask a little bit more because it is Deadpool. Early sales 130, 140, a little above ratio already. Asking prices, well, 125, 150, 200. Feels like they're feeling it out. I mean, there's a copy available for less than what other people paid for it. So who knows where this is going to land as the week goes on. Worth watching. We'll see what happens. But speaking of Deadpool, it will lead us into our next segment, which is one of my favorites to do. I only got a little bit to put in it this week. We don't get it every week, but there are a couple of things that made me stop and say,
WTF, Gary? WTF. What the fuck does WTF mean? What the fuck? Oh,
that's right. WTF. First off, we have Deadpool. As you might guess, despite the fact that I thought he was retiring, we got another cover. Blackwell. Deadpool. Weird bubble balloon arm. Generic sword. It looks like he's holding could be a lightsaber, could be a garden hose. I'm not sure, but I guess it's supposed to be a weapon. But this pose, I just cannot shake the thought. Granted, to make this work, we got to flip-flop the image because this is all I see. Why is he squatting? Why is he popping a squat on this cover? This is his action pose? He's got to drop a deuce before he jumps into the fight? I don't know. I don't know. And in what at this point might become a recurring segment, let's take a look at Captain America. I mentioned these Hildebrandt card covers, but this might have to come back because much like Thanos a few weeks ago, granted, it's not as good as the Thanos, this has got to be the nut shot of the week. So get right up in there. You get a nice shot of Cap's grundle and enjoy. I don't like this perspective. It's fine when it's on a card because the card's this big. Put it on a cover, you're getting a lot of groin. Just saying. And if you find that Captain America trade dress, bothersome, guess what? You can get yourself a nice virgin version, 1 in 50. So no worries. We got you covered there for your nut shot of the week. Oh, yeah. We'll see. We'll see if we get more. With that said, let's move on to later prints. We got a few this week. There are a few second and later than that printings coming out. So let's just dive right into it. Starting off with Godzilla, we got Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. I'm enjoying the series. It's almost over. It's almost at the finish. But for whatever reason, this week they decided to release the final editions. I don't know why they had to say it, but it's a final printing. Third print for number 1. Second print for issues 2, 3, and 4. Even though it's a 7-issue series, I think. And we might get more of these, but whatever. Supposedly, these are going to be the final printings of these books. And if you didn't notice, kind of looking at the familiar images, or the similar, I should say, images, yes, these do go together. So this is a connecting cover set. Pretty cool. I kind of like it. I'm not going to go and buy these books again. I already have them. Would have been nice if these were the covers to start, but I'm not going to buy the third, second, and the second prints just to get this. But it is kind of cool. I like it. But if you didn't get the originals, this is a good opportunity. You can get these. Just saying. But with that, DC is also giving us a remastered edition of Sandman number 19, which I think, is this the first Delirium? I think it's his first Delirium. And we know Sandman season 2 is coming, and we're getting some more of the Endless ones. So we may see more of these remastered editions coming out. But issue 19 remastered, which is technically a reprint, redone and all that stuff. This will be available from DC Black Label this week. Beneath the trees where nobody sees, we are getting a third printing of number 2, and this is a pretty cool cover. I kind of like it. And a second print for issue 3, which is another cool cover, which I kind of like it. But I can't rebuy all this stuff just because I like the second. I get caught up and want to do it, especially with the image stuff. I want to do it, but man, my wallet is telling me no. It's telling me I got to pause, got to take a step back. I can appreciate the art. I don't need it if I already have it. Just trying to practice some restraint personally. You guys, you do what you want with your own wallets, but mine is telling me you've been buying too much junk lately as I look around this room, and I've got to square this away pretty soon. With that said, Last Mermaid number 1, that odd-sized square book, is coming out with a second print as well. And it says it right there down there in the corner, just in case you weren't sure. If you haven't been keeping up with Maria Lovett's Crave, we're getting second prints for a couple more issues here. I'm speeding up and speeding through this because I feel like we're already half hour in, and I still got more to do. With that, and I mentioned more of the image stuff, and I want these. Here we go. 5th printing of Transformers number 1. 2 covers. And I know, you look at that black and white, you're like, what is that mess? But if you look closely, you could see it is the line work of that other cover, which it is very, very detailed. It's like you got to get in there. It's like Jeff Darrow like level. You got to get in there and see everything. That's because it's all there. It is all there. But from from probably whether you're looking on your phone or you're looking on your TV, however you're watching this show, it may not be clear. But when I zoomed in on the image, it is pretty cool. And I don't know. I would like to get these, but what am I going to do? I'm going to buy now 2 more copies of issue 1 that I don't need. Trying to get me with the 5th print, but I gotta try to again stay strong. But that is a pretty cool, especially the color edition. I do like the color edition to Starscream, but you do lose some of the fine details once the color is added. That is evident there on that black and white. But with that said, we're also getting a 4th print for issue 2, so they're keeping the printings coming. 3rd print here for issue 3. Again, I don't need more because I already got these, but we got some more old school Transformers, and I do really like these, and I was getting these early on, but man, here's another pair. They're trying to get me with the second print for issue 4. Megatron's pretty cool with the Decepticon logo in the back. They're very simple, and you got Jazz. Very simple. They're like character portraits. I kind of like them, but once again, I'm gonna spend another $10 just to get these, or is it $8? I think they're $3.99. Still, point being, I can't keep buying the same thing over and over again just to get new covers. But if you missed out, these are good opportunities to get some cool covers. Granted, not all the ones I just ran through are all great. Like I didn't like that issue 2 or 3. That wasn't that great, but I do like issue 4, and I like that issue 1, 5th print. And if you missed out, Avengers Twilight number 3, we're getting a second print. Kamala Khan If she were a dude, we would have had this in consideration in our WTF section. But here we go with Avengers Twilight Book 3. If you missed it, here's your chance to get it, and you can read and catch up. I'm liking this series as well. But thankfully, no incentive here. Just a second printing. Unlike this, it feels like it's been a while since we got Edge of Spider-Verse #1 with this Weapon 8. Everybody wanted this Cyclops, this creepy Peter Parker mutant with the eyes. It was okay. It wasn't like the greatest story in the world. I don't know if I need a lot more of this, but it is what it is. We're getting a second print, and that's not enough. There's a second print, 1 in 25, which, yeah, it's okay. I think it's just a virgin version of one of the other covers that was available before. Yeah, but you know my feelings on these by now. But we still got to point it out because this is what you guys are doing with these. You're spending $50 before this even comes out, making asking prices be anywhere from $65 to $135. So we'll keep an eye on it. I don't know what the volumes will be on this. It was kind of a popular character, popular book. It's kind of settled down. I mean, I don't know why you really need the second print 1 in 25 of this. It feels like you would want to invest your money. If you really like the character, it feels like you would want to invest your money more in the first appearance rather than the reprint and then the reprint incentive. But again, your money, do what you like. Facsimiles. It's another month, so we're getting another Secret Wars. This time, it's April, so we're getting issue 4. These are coming all year, so we're going to have these in here. First week of the month, most likely. All year, we're getting the next edition of Secret Wars. Facsimile editions. Can't complain there, right? Oh, I think I put the wrong images here for it. But there is a foil edition. $9. No, that's the right one. I'm sorry, that's the right one. Because they do have an incentive. Here's the incentive, a redone version. I was going to say, it looks familiar, but here we go. Facsimile edition. 1 in 25 of the facsimile. Doesn't make sense. You're changing the cover, then it's no longer a facsimile. But again, I'm not going to say it every week. I just can't help it. But once again, people are buying it right around ratio and less. $12. Somebody got one for 12 to 30. And then asking prices, well, there's one up for 30, and then there's a couple others looking for 60, 62. We'll see if it can get those higher prices. But for right now, those early pre-sales are right around ratio, but the asks are seeking more. See how the week plays out. It's issue 4. I don't think 4 had a first appearance. At least issue 3 had Titania and Volcana. They were in there. Issue 6 will get Spider-Woman, Jessica Carpenter, and then obviously we're gonna get Black Suit Spider-Man. So everybody's gonna want that one when that comes out. But that'll be August by the time we worry about that. And then maybe the Doom cover near the end. Again, the Secret Wars is readily available. Like, again, unless you're talking about Black Suit Spider-Man, the rest of the series is pretty affordable outside of, like I said, maybe 3 might be a couple of bucks more, and 6 might be a couple of bucks, or is it 7? I'm sorry, it's 6 or 7. She might cameo at the end, and then she might be in the cover with the Cap cover, and then 8 is the Spider-Man cover. You guys don't know it by now. That's the point. You know it by now. Why do you need facsimiles? I get it; it'll be on better paper, but really, $5 a piece. You can find them at dollar boxes. Save yourself money. Just go look for them in the dollar box. That said, Spider-Punk Arms Race. We are getting second prints here. I like the Ogazaki covers on the regulars, so I don't really need to go towards the second prints on these. But here we go. Here we got a second print, and then a 1 in 25, which I believe this was the Bertram foil cover, but this is not a foil edition. But the 1 in 25 is the same cover, I believe, as the foil, just not foil. But here we go again. Incentive second prints. Couple early pre-sales. They got $60 and $90. Asking prices looking for 70, 80, 60. Whatever. Now, we got to get to the end of this because there was a lot of books. There was a lot of books. And the rest of the way, we've got just different little subsections. So we're going to start off with a new variant month. DC is giving us Jim Lee covers. This week we got 2. So Artist Spotlight. Remember we had Diodato a couple of months back. This time we're getting an artist spotlight on Jim Lee. So on Batman 146, we're getting a Jim Lee Batman. Not to be outdone, Big Barda on Birds of Prey, number 8. So there's also an artist spotlight there. We'll get back to Birds of Prey once we get to the Cheesecake section. But for now, these are our 2 Jim Lee covers. I am pre-ordering all of these just because I'm a Jim Lee fan. And all of the books that DC is doing, I think I'm doing like half dozen to 8. I'm just getting all of them. Because, well, I like Jim Lee. So I'm going to get them. With that, they also seem to have, I don't know if this is going to be a trend and there's going to be more of these, but this week I did see one so far, Marvel Foreshadow variant. So, oh, okay. So, on Avengers number 12, they're foreshadowing, I guess, a little bit of Blood Hunt, maybe? I see, will they look like vampires? So we might be looking ahead to Blood Hunt a bit on this issue 12. They do this every once in a while, these foreshadow kind of teaser type covers. And this one will actually connect with the next issue of Avengers when that one comes out. I don't know how far this connecting cover set will go, but at least I noticed these two will go together as they continue to foreshadow what's to come. So at least look out for 12 and 13 for Avengers for that. We are also getting more Micronauts variants. I feel like we got Micronauts variants. No, we had ROM. We had ROM the previous time. Now we're getting Micronauts. Sorry. Here I'm on the fly. I'm remembering things as I'm talking. Micronauts variants this week. We got a couple. You guys remember this little toys, the metal? You can kind of take them apart, put them back together. They're like different levels, different sizes. Whole thing. Toy line, comics. You can go back and get all that old stuff. But here we got some Micronauts variants where they're mixing in some of these Micronauts characters. You can see Bug down below, who, funnily enough, did get transitioned into the regular Marvel universe and was part of Abnett and Lanning's Guardians of the Galaxy. Unfortunately, didn't make it in the movies, but he would have been a cool character had they been able to use him. But I think there were rights issues because of the connection to the Micronauts. That's it. X-Men cover. X-Men 33, Micronauts. Also getting a Deadpool 1 Micronauts. You can see he's playing with little action figures. Pretty cool. And Venom 32 is also giving us a Micronauts variant with the big bad back there. Is his name like Karnak or something like that? Can't remember. All I remember is his head came off. It was like a magnet. You put them together, and there was like rockets, and you could take his arms and legs off. You can all kinds of weird stuff. Switch things around. Those are the Micronauts variants. Up next, we have the largest variant section of the week, much like the headshots of last month, which were kind of cool, but all right, I get it. They probably got boring after running through them. These, I think, will be a bit more fun. We're getting Marvel vampire variants. What does that mean? Well, as we get ready for Blood Hunt, once again, more promotion for this Wednesday stack. Make sure you come back on Wednesday. We'll talk some Blood Hunt. That series is starting in May. Like the actual event will begin in May. So we're leading up to it now. This month is kind of the lead into Blood Hunt. So we're prepping for it. We're getting ready for it. We're getting some variants for it, which are some homage variants, some classic vampire covers, homage on current titles. I like some of these. I kind of wouldn't mind getting the whole set, but you know how Marvel does it. There's like 25 of them. It's going to get too expensive. Do we really want to spend $100 to get all of these? Probably not. But we can look at them all together for free. This week, we're getting a big pile of them. Avengers 12. Callback to Tomb of Dracula number 13. You see? Yeah, you got the Vision down there. I don't know how Vision would be a vampire, but okay. You got the current Avengers squad there. We're also getting Captain America, the Tomb of Captain America, which is a Tomb of Dracula number 5 homage. You can see one for one. I love the whole, they do the trade dress like kind of together and the whole outline of the cover and even like the word bubbles are matching up. I love it when they have that extra attention to detail on these. Deadpool. Once again, another Deadpool number 1, but it's not in the WTF section. It is a classic Tomb of Dracula number 1 homage. I like these. I like the Carnage one that I got. Probably gonna get this one too. Just because it's classic. Tomb of Dracula. We've seen it plenty of times before, but I don't mind seeing it every once in a while. I do also like it when they do different stuff, like we've done on those last couple were just oddball kind of Tomb of Draculas, not ones you see every all the time. Or this Immortal Thor number 9 is giving us a Morbius, or I should say, Fear number 31. This is a hard ass book to look up, by the way, because you want to say it's called The Living Vampire. Nope. It's the man called Morbius, the Living Vampire. Nope. Adventure into Fear with the man called, nope, title's just Fear. It's a lot of words on that cover for it to just be called Fear. So it's Fear number 31. Just in case you wanted to look it up for yourself. All that other stuff, it makes it hard to find. Anyway, that's the final issue of that series. But pretty cool. Again, nice little matchup there. She-Hulk is even getting one. She-Hulk number 7 has a Tomb of Dracula, Lord of Vampires number 48. So just deep in the run, Dracula cover. Cool. Granted, she's going in on Jack of Hearts there, but whatever. Spider-Man, Shadow of the Green Goblin is also giving us one. This is a Doctor Strange cover, Doctor Strange 14 from back in the day. You got the whole thing. Again, match 1 for 1. The Goblin holding Spidey, Drac holding Doc, and then Strange in the astral plane, just like Spidey behind. I like it. Like I said, I like the attention to detail they use. Even the green bubble, it matches. Not word for word, but, they update it. Like, I like that. I mentioned Moon Knight before. Moon Knight is getting one, too. Pretty fun. Tomb of Dracula number 43. This kind of reminds me of that old Batman. The one with the big bats, and you got the lady running down the bottom. Reminds me of that, but just from a different angle. But Moon Knight number 4. Pretty cool. Venom is also giving us one. Venom 32 is a Tomb of Dracula 23. Also gives me that vibe of that Batman. Why am I thinking the Tech 31? Yeah, Detective Comics 31, and then they redid it on Batman. Was it 220? I can't remember the numbers, but you know what I'm talking about. Neil Adams homage, the original. But yeah, that's what this is. So it's an homage to an homage to an homage. I don't know how many levels. It's like 14 walls, 16 walls. Fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. I don't know, but I do got one more. One more for you. Classic X-Men 33. You guys know that annual, that Storm cover. X-Men, Count Nefaria. We got deep ties to vampires in the X-Men side of things, so we'll see plenty of them, I'm sure, in this Blood Hunt series as well. But annual number 6, Ms. Marvel this time playing the role of Storm. Fun cover. Let's get to the Cheesecake, and then we'll get to the covers, and then we'll be done. Trying to keep these under an hour. A lot of talking from me sitting here by myself, just to be running through all this stuff. But hopefully you're enjoying it. Hopefully you enjoy these covers. Here we got some more cheesecakes for you. Yes, Red Sonja has got a new title starting up, Empire of the Damned. Could have went in the new number 1s, but it fit here better because, well, we've got some other covers as well. We got that Color Bleed, John Tyler Christopher, and then we got a Linzer, and then we got another option there for you as well. That she's just busting out there. Like, it feels like I see a shadow of a nipple on that cover. Just saying. Zenescope also giving us just one this week. We're getting a Cinderella Murder for All Seasons. Pretty cool cover there. Then we got a couple of other options here. I don't know what's going on with the world, but then there's an Ivan Tao, and there's like a dinosaur creature. Somehow Cinderella's in all these different places all at once. I have no idea what goes on inside these books. But some of these covers are pretty cool, including that one in the middle, which is also reworked and redone to be an incentive as well. I don't know if it's like a 1 in 20 or what it is, where you're going to find some of these down the line. We talked about this, I think, last week or the week before. Yeah, some of these Zenescope like incentive books, they're going to be impossible. They're going to be ghosts to even know they exist, let alone what they may be worth. But then again, the market for them will be smaller than most because of the subject matter and not everyone being comfortable having covers like this in their collection. But, it is what it is. I think it's cool. Just like this. La Muerta, Coffin Comics. Another series here. I think it's kind of chilly there. Cover A. There is also these are expensive too, some of these. Like these other editions they do. Well, not the one in the middle. The one in the middle is a B cover variant that's like $6. But like that foil edition, it costs like $30 out of the gate. I don't know, but it's not so much it's an incentive. It's just they have a higher cost right out of the starting gate. Just like the Punisher homage there. I think that's like 20 or something like that. $20. Just saying. And then we have a 1 in 10 incentive for this book as well. So it's not just the higher cost books. They do have incentives as well. There is a 1 in 10 available if you're so inclined. Next up, new Suicide Squad, Kill Arkham Asylum. Yeah, this Pinocchio cover doesn't really quite fit the bill, but I kind of wanted to put it in here to kind of lead off with this part because I kind of like the next cover too. Which I think there's 3 covers, but I'm only going to show you 2, and they're all just open order variants, no incentive, which is a surprise because I could have sworn this Hans was an incentive, but it is just an open order cover. So feel free to go and get one. But it is pretty cool. You got a mix of like the Harley with the old school and new. This is kind of like that new 52 time frame of when she was kind of transitioning a bit, but still kind of cool. I don't know. And then Derek Chu is giving us a solid canary cover here on Birds of Prey #8. I think it's Derek Chu on this one. So you have that as an option as well as the 1 in 25 Ikajur, if I'm saying that properly. They look extremely tall. It's a very harsh forced perspective here. It makes them look kind of weird. I get it, what they're going for with their perspective. I don't really think it was done to my liking, but there it is. And it is a DC 1 in 25, and we see these sometimes go above ratio. Right now, they're at ratio, but the asking prices are $40, $45, and 10. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes we don't know where this is going to land. You can get a copy of this for $10. That's less than half the ratio price. And then other times you're looking for double. Market's the market. I will report on the sales after the fact before we get to the hot 10. But for now, we're just watching to see what happens. Poison Ivy, we got a new issue as well. Poison Ivy 21. David Nakayama's been doing cover after cover. They're all great. They are all starting to look a little similar. I'll admit that too. But this is another good one from him. There are other covers here available as well. Some options, including the 1 in 25, which is, I think, I can't think of the artist's name. She did Supergirl, World Woman of Tomorrow. Evil Queen? I can't think of the name. I'm just drawing a blank. Again, I've been sitting here for like an hour talking to myself. You guys know who I'm talking about. Still, 1 in 25 cover, and then there is also a version of the 1 in 50 of the David Nakayama available as well. Those can be hit and miss as far as the aftermarket goes or the pre-sale market goes. Copy sold for under ratio at $44, but then the asks right now are looking for double. Look, $85, $90, $110. Who knows what the right price is? We'll see if any of those sell. You see what's sold, you see what they're asking. We'll see where the market finds itself. Going back to She-Hulk, we had that vampire cover for She-Hulk #7. Here is the regular cover, cover A. You know, this is a Jen Bartel. Oh, by the way, in the pool, so it kind of fits what we're talking about. And yet another David Nakayama, this time on the 1 in 25. We're a pretty fun cover. Very bright. Already doing a little bit extra. 37, 25, $50 early pre-sales. Asking prices $40 to $55. Once again, we'll see where it lands, but it's another one to keep an eye on for this week. As we get to our final segment, which is just covers that I like. Finishing this up, I'm kind of losing my voice a bit. We're going to start off with an homage. I know I used to have a whole homage section, and we've had a couple already mixed in, but we're just going to go with this Goodfellas here on Torpedo 1972. I mean, I'm not going to say no to a Goodfellas cover. Just saying. Love Goodfellas. Love Goodfellas. I also just like this cover to Guma, #5. So, Ji Hyung Lee, you guys have forgotten, this series is coming out. It was part of the Kickstarter, I already got the Kickstarter books ahead of time. This is being reprinted by Titan, so go check the story out. It's pretty cool. We're up to issue 5. It is nearing its end. It's going to go to issue 7, and hopefully we get a volume 2. But I do like this. I think it's a Ben Oliver cover here on this one. Dark Souls, the Willow King. Just something creepy about this one. There's multiple covers here as well, just like the last issue. But I think it's issue 2. I just like this. This is just kind of creepy. I dug it, so I threw it in here. Star Wars. Don't often see a regular old Star Wars cover that I like, but this one, I like the reflection of Boba and Lando and the Stormtrooper helmet. I dig it. I like a good reflection cover like that. So Star Wars 45, not bad. Trial of Lando Calrissian. This is just the cover A. There is also a Thrawn cover on the Rebels cover. So there is a variant, open order again, that you can get. Not bad. Not the greatest Thrawn, but Definitely not bad. Not as bad as some of the covers we've seen lately on the Thrawn book, but it's okay. Alex Ross giving us a pretty cool Immortal Thor, fourth wall breaking or whatever. Enchantress on issue 9. And there's a pretty sweet B cover as well. This is a Darbo, I think. And then this is also a 1 in 50 Virgin. It's kind of a throne cover. So I kind of like the throne covers. So that's why I'm kind of inclined to like this. Early sale on this, $40. Somebody asking 120. Not saying this is going to be 120 to 1 in 50. Sold for under ratio. And then again, asking price 120. I think this still might be available. Last I looked, it was still available at Midtown for like 36. So don't go paying 120 if you can get it for cheaper. Just saying, if you're into it. I thought about it, but even at 36 bucks, I don't like 1 in 50s. This is 1 in 25. I'd be a little more. My appetite might be a little more closer to meeting this, but 1 in 50s, I get a little sensitive on pulling the trigger. With that said, I think I got one more book for you. Venom 32, Rose Besh. This is different, but I like it. I don't know. There's something with the dripping paint. I just like it. The colors, I like it. It's a piece of art. I like art. I like this one. Can't explain it all the time. Just like this one. But I'd be fine with this. This is, again, an open order B cover variant. There is a 1 in 100 Virgin version also available. Also awesome. This would be cool to have, but I ain't paying 1 in 100 prices, let alone these 1 in 100 prices, because right now, one pre-sold for 125. Asking prices, again, looking for just over at 120 or as high as 180 to $200. Where will this one fall as the week goes on? I don't know, but it's another book to keep an eye on for this week because it is a pretty cool cover. And with that said, that's finally all I got for you. Coming in at just under an hour, that is the watch list for this week. Thanks for all the support and checking this out. I appreciate you all. Like I mentioned a couple of times during the show, make sure you come back Wednesday for the tax show, as we'll be doing that Blood Hunt look ahead with Jack Kornblatt, who writes with me over at CBSI, comicbookinvest.com. And yeah, also should hopefully have a Chasing Ghost for you guys tomorrow if I can get it done in time. And I might even bring back Dollar Bin Digging on Thursday. I did come up with some ideas. I know I kind of ran its course. I gave it a break for a couple of months. I might try to bring it back. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But with that all said, plenty more content coming your way. I appreciate you all, and I will see you soon with some more content. All right, later.